What's up, my precious little pack, and welcome back to VEGA Conflict. I said at some point that I'd get out the Anarchy event overview, as well as a recommended target based on what I've been attacking and using a certain fleet. Today, the fleet I'll be showing will be this fleet, with the average level of 68. Only because of two lower level ships that are in it. If you actually change them out for two high level bastions, the average level will actually go up to about 75 or 78. But let's go ahead and let's take care of the attack later on. Let's go over the Anarchy price list. The Prophet flagship. It is our new flagship, our new teleporting ship. It is interesting, to say the least. It can jump between sectors, so there's that little aspect. It cannot jump from planet to planet. It can only jump from sector to sector, and it has to be in sector to jump to another sector, and it can only jump one sector at a time. And let's take a look at its stats. Repair time, 2 hours. Health, 24,000 hit points. Maximum mass, 27,300 tons. That weighs more unmark upgraded than my bridge does. Cargo, 15,089,200 tons. So it can carry a pretty hefty amount. When it's fully mark upgraded, it can carry 40 million tons, I believe is what I saw. I can actually take a look at it in just a minute. And then standard movement speed, 200 meters per second, 8 degrees turning speed, strafe of 50 meters per second. Now here comes the kicker for it. 330 astronomical units per hour. That makes it as fast as a frigate in sector. And then its modifier stats, it gets Resurgence, just like all the new Altarian technologies being converted over. Has the low void resistance and everything like that, but I mean with a high base amount of health, that's just absurd. Plus, as you mark upgrade it, it actually gets access to 4 shield slots and 3 armor slots. An additional special and another weapon. Let's go ahead and let's go take a look at its overdrive real quick. Well, not its overdrive, it's wormhole drive. It's type 1. 3-hour base repair time, so that takes up to 5 hours of repair time. 5% of the ship mass. The minimum level it can escort, well, that can escort it and jump with it, is level 70, and it states that here, escort limit of 4, warm-up time of 10 seconds, and a cooldown of 150 seconds. So after you jump, you're going to have 2 minutes and 30 seconds of time where you can't jump again. Minimum range, 1 astronomical unit. Sector jump, 1, which means I could jump from my sector to another sector. The sector warm-up time is 20 seconds, and it has twice the amount of cooldown. It has 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. Let's compare that to some of the wormhole drives that the Javelin has. Let's go over the Blitz drive and the one I use, the Type E. The Blitz drive, 10-hour repair time, 500 tons. Escort limit of 4, it has a warm-up time of 6 seconds, has a cooldown time of 60 seconds, has a minimum range of 1 astronomical unit, except for when it jumps, it gives a shield bypass bonus for 20 seconds. Let's go over the other one, which is what I use, and the one I'd recommend the vast majority of everyone use. They have a Javelin. Repair time, 10 hours. Mass, 500 tons. Escort limit, 10. So you can carry yourself and a bunch of your clan members with this. Warm-up time of only 6 seconds. Cooldown of 30 seconds. You can jump extremely often. Minimum range, 1 astronomical unit. Which is no surprise because all of them have a base limit of 1 astronomical unit that you cannot jump within. So you can't just rapidly jump in a small circle. Next up, Sovereign Carrier, and all 8 pieces are here, except for the total cost. It will cost you 4 million intel compared to the 2,500,000 I paid for the full blueprint. The Bastion Cruiser full blueprint, Paragon blueprint, the Cavalier Cutter, the Inquisitor Destroyer, and then you get the Resonant Armors and stuff for the other one. And I should have actually removed these from the Alliance War prize list because you could actually pick them up here, and I should have said to focus on picking up ships and weapons, because you could get armor and other stuff from here. Let's take a look at the Resonant Armor 1 and then 3 because the second one is effectively the same as the first one, just with more health. So let's take a look at the first one. 18 minutes repair time and 10 seconds. Mass, 1,168 tons. Void resistance of 25% by default, with a health of 4,988, with the boosted shield energy of 20%. Let's take a look at the third. 26 minutes, 15 seconds repair time. 2,019 tons, with void resistance of 50%. Health, 6,562, with a shield boost of 25%, and this is per armor slot. Let's go over the Void Shell 1 and the Void Shell 3. And now I'll talk about the Resurgence system and whether it would be useful on your blackguards or if they should be best left be the way they are when they're stock. Repair time, 13 minutes, 37 seconds. Void reduction, 75%. Other reductions, 25%, and as I stated in a comment not too long ago before I started recording this video, I do not believe that this actually resists anything else, only Void. I believe this is just a typo because it was literally just a copy and paste of the other shield type. So I believe this is just an error that can be removed because it shouldn't resist any other type other than Void. It has a mass of 778 tons. It's basically just a copy, like I said, of the energy shell, and it even has counter chain to it. So it can help reduce damage from standard ships such as the Bastion that has chaining damage. Let's go over to level 3. Repair time 22 minutes and 4 seconds. 75% void reduction. Mass 2,048 tons. Energy 7,168. Defense of 90%, so 10% will always bypass the shield and hit you by default right to the ship. Counter chain of 1 again. And again, this should just be removed because as far as I understand it doesn't have any other resistances other than to Void. So this little bit of the copy and paste can be removed if it is correct and it only resists Void. The Resurgence system. What's good about it, what's bad about it? Well, if you play it carefully, you can actually take a full fleet of new ships with the Resurgence system. If you fly them carefully enough, you can avoid actually losing your fleet fight after fight after fight, and you can regain a little bit of the damage you take. So let's say your ship is fully destroyed but you win the fight, it'll return with 30% health by default on the blackguards. Now if you add this to them, it'll be 45% of their health back, and the fully mark upgraded blackguards actually get access to 50%, so you could take it up to 65% per ship. And if you have 5 blackguards or 5 of any of the ships that have the Resurgence booster on them, 5 of them in a fleet, it allows the entire fleet to gain an additional 30%, as well as give 30% to an additional ship, so you could have any other type of ship in there. It doesn't have to actually have Resurgence to benefit from it. So in PvP, this will be an interesting combat system. It'll be unique because it'll allow PvP to be carried out longer, and since Resurgence is only active in PvP fleet battles, from what I understand, you can't actually use it in bases. You can't go through basing a player and then expect to get health back. In fleet versus fleet, however, that is different. Okay, Yellow Jackets. Yellow Jacket wings. Let's go over the first and the second one. I'll go over each one, and I'll actually recommend which ones to pick up at the end of this little list. But let's go over the Yellow Jacket Wing 1. Energy damage per second, 303, mass 1,506 tons, flight time of 15 seconds. With 8,000 meters scramble range with a speed of 2,000 meters per second and 4,050 hit points. That is a bit disappointing because the wings, in comparison to their standard drone counterpart, are much weaker. They don't fly as long. They have more health, but they do less damage. And that is a problem I see because fleets already decimate bases just based on, let's just say, the Carpet Nuker fleet, which is the Paragon escorted by Bastions. The Bastions take all the brunt of the attack while the Paragon just carpet nukes everything in a base. So when it comes to the wings, I wouldn't recommend picking up any of them with low range, because the longer range you have, the sooner they can start flying out to meet your enemy, and the sooner they'll be doing damage. If you want to counter rush fleets, granted, the Yellow Jackets would be good, but they wouldn't be as useful as a long-range fleet, because a lot of the times you're either going to be fighting Inquisitor Destroyers or the Paragon Nuke fleet. So you're either going to have to choose one or the other, or mix them both, but then you don't get the full support of long-range or short-range counter combat. Next up, Red Hawk, and it falls in at 9,000 meters with 261 damage per second. That's sad. We actually have wings that we can literally unlock as blueprints that do almost as much damage as them and have almost the same amount of range. They don't have that much health, but the vast majority of things in the game do enough damage they just one-shot drones and things like that, so it doesn't really matter. Flight time of 25 seconds, allowing it to actually make use of its damage per second, provided it makes it to the target. Its speed, however, lacks, and it has 1,500 meters per second, so it'll take it 6 seconds to reach the maximum scramble range of 9,000 meters. Bluetail Wing, getting even slower but having even longer range, and again even lower damage at level 1. 226 damage per second with 30 seconds flight time with 2,275 hit points. You would be better off equipping Spectre Wings over these, just because you have high damage output of 200 per second, but you also have 25% built-in shield bypass on those little suckers. You're doing a lot more damage to the hull a lot more easily. But 1,360 tons, 30-second flight time, 9,500 meters scramble range, with 1,200 meters speed. Again, they're lacking. Ranger Wing, let's go with level 1. 149. Did all the wings just get worse than their ship counterpart? Because this is such garbage. 149 damage per second. Again, you'd be better off equipping Spectre Wings in your base, because they have high damage, they have good shield bypass, and they're quick. 149 damage per second, 893 tons, 30-second flight time, 9,500 meters, scramble range, 1,200 meters per second travel speed, with 850 hit points. Hit points, again, do not matter because they get one-shotted by most targets that attack them. 220 damage per second. Pardon me for just a second. Is it lower down the list? Okay, don't know why the Fury Wing is down there. But back to the Hunter Wing. 220 damage per second, 1,037 tons of mass, 25-second flight time with a scramble range of 9,500 meters, speed of 1,650 meters per second, and 2,100 hit points. They would be a better bet than most of the other stuff on this list because they're faster. They don't have as long as a flight time, but if they get shot down, flight time doesn't matter. Gladiator Wing with 200 energy damage per second, 989 tons, 15-second flight time. That is a terrible flight time. Scramble, 8,000 meters. Speed, 2,000 meters per second. Health, 1,400. Charger Wing, 172 damage per second, 938 tons, 25 seconds of flight time, scramble range of 9,000 meters, speed of 1,500 meters per second, with health of 1,100. Again, it doesn't matter if they get shot down. Fury Wing, here we go. 303 alien damage per second at level 1. Mass, 1,579 tons. Flight time, 25 seconds. 9,500 meters scramble range, with a speed of 1,650 meters per second, with a health of 4,050. So they take both stats from... Oh, they're just a little bit worse in terms of speed, but overall damage, they're better. So I'll make sure to pick myself up a few of them because I'm pretty sure I could trade them out. Armor, stuff that we've been needing for a very long time, and since it's long overdue. The explosive alien heavy talonite plates, explosive alien heavy talonite plates. Well, the energy alien, the projectile alien heavy talonite plates. Now, depending on the type of fleet you're being hit with the most often, it's not going to matter which one you do. Because if you go for all 4 of these and then you upgrade and convert them, because it takes 3 per one, so to get to level 2 you need 3 level 1s. So if you buy all 12, you only get 4 pieces of armor. However, that armor has over 16,000 hit points, as I'll show you later. Let's go over the stats of only the alien ones, because they're the only ones I could recommend, because for granted for lower level players these ones would be good, but for higher level players, alien resistance, because of how often we fight it, well, how often it attacks bases, this would be the better choice. Let's go over, well, each one's identical, so I don't have to go over them. I can just quickly go over one stat and you'll know all of them. Mass, 3,031 tons, 14,700 hit points, alien resistance of 20%, explosive resistance of 50%. Okay, on to the cyclotron beam, level 1, which is the one I always recommend picking up, because for the vast majority of my builds I always use the lowest level technology, except for I target ships and fleets of certain levels. Range of 8,000 meters maximum range, energy damage per second 600, but its overcharge makes that 900 after 10 seconds for 10 seconds for a total of 20 seconds of total time that it was dealing damage, all the while gaining. Mass of 2,393 tons, and it's restricted to carrier only on Altarian ships. Level 2, range does not increase, damage goes up by a little bit over 10%. Overdrives, the overcharge stays the same, and the mass goes up to 3,112 tons. Again, it is restricted to the carrier of Altarian faction. Onto the on-guard overdrive generator. It increases the ship mass by 5%. The overdrive adds 5 counter chain, 5 counter pierce, gives no recharge delay to the shield, so it will constantly be recharging. Gives 10% shield defense. And this is all for the carrier. All of this up until the support field is all for the carrier, and this is something I didn't quite understand. It gives 10% shield defense when a shield has 90% by default, so does it increase it by 10% of the remaining, so you get 10% of 10%, which is 1%, or does it increase it by a flat rate of 10%, giving you 100% when you're within range of 3 targets, so only the shield can be damaged unless the targets have shield bypass? Or is it a mixture of both the total number, the 90%, mixed with the smaller number, which is 10%, which is the amount of space I have before it can go up to 100%, which would be, what, 95 or 92? But the support field has 11,000 meters in range. It increases the fleet shield defense by 5%, increases the fleet shield damage by 100%, and increases weapon speed by 50%. All in all, I'm still waiting for the shield bypass overdrive and the agility overdrive. We still have yet to actually see them or hear about them, but we're getting plenty of tech for the bases right now in the Anarchy event. Xenoshells. I can recommend picking up each and every single one of these, and I believe I've gone over them before in videos before, so I can recommend picking up each and every single one depending on your builds. Lancer Driver, I actually do have an Inquisitor Destroyer that does use it at level 1. However, to fully equip it with all 5 Lancer Drivers, you have to be Mark II, unless you want to skip out on armor and shielding and a few specials. Ballistic Sabot. If you're going to be basing, this will be good for you because you can sit outside of your enemy's range and attack their minor modules. Well, shoot over their minor modules and not do any damage to them, and shoot into the enemy base, activate your overcharge, and just go through the base and destroy it without actually having to engage in combat. Phase Solenoid, on the other hand, is viable in all situations. 1, it increases the weapon speed of your driver, it increases shield bypass Honestly, it's a good advantage, and with 30% shield bypass on any driver weapon you equip, you can guarantee 30% of the damage is going to be going through shields and hitting anything and everything. Especially if your enemy's lined up for you. Last but not least, resources. Pick out whichever one you need the most and start from the bottom, work your way up, so that way you're not wasting as much intel at one small quick jump as you would be otherwise. Okay, time to go over the full list. Prophet flagship is most definitely on the recommended list. I'd recommend you pick up the Prophet. If you can get the 6,500,000 between the two, I'd recommend picking up a flagship and the Sovereign Carrier. I'd also recommend picking up the Bastion Cruiser if you can, the Inquisitor Destroyer, and the Paragon Battleship. Granted, they do not have weapons in this list. They would still be better to have the blueprint and not have the weapons and be able to use older weapons with them, because you'd be able to gain the advantages of their overdrives. Void Resonant Armor 1, I would recommend picking up all of it, all 12 pieces if you can. And if possible, clean out all 3 levels of it, but start with level 1 and end with level 3. Well, not quite. Pick up all of level 1 and all of level 3 and leave level 2 for the second hand when you're going back through. Same with the Void Shells. Pick up all of level 1 and all of level 3, then pick up level 2. Skip all of these, with the exception of Hunter Wings if you actually think you want them. Go right for Fury Wings. That's right, go right for the Fury Wings. Second, I would recommend picking up the Projectile Alien Heavy Talonite Plates and the Explosive Alien Heavy Talonite Plates. Now, pick up all 12 of them, but do not equip any of them. What you're going to do is you're going to upgrade them. You're going to fuse them, like what I'm doing. Let's go ahead and let's hop over to my workshop, and I'll show you the stats for it. It's right here. Heavy Talonite Plates 2, 3,139 tons, so it doesn't increase by that much in weight. However, its health goes up and its resistance to alien damage goes up, and that's what you want. You want increased resistance to alien damage, which is the type you'll be taking the most damage from. And with 16,323 hit points, it has a healthy amount of hit points to add to any module in your base. That, however, doesn't mean that you'll be able to actually engage and have that effective health be used, because as we know, the Inquisitor can just outrange certain modules in your base, open a gap in your base, and more or less destroy everything in your base, all whilst fighting just one module. So it's a touch or go as to whether you actually want to equip them and boost your fleet level and allow the higher level Inquisitors into your base. But now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go out and I'm going to start targeting a fleet. The target will actually be a Marauder level 70 Pillager fleet. You'll see why in just a minute, everybody. Welcome back to that Pillager fleet, everybody. I'm going to do the same thing I've been doing this entire time, and you're going to need a little bit of skill to do this attack, as well as have a Sovereign Carrier. You're going to outrange just about everything in the fleet, but if you make a single misclick or mistake whilst moving your ships, you will take damage. It will be low damage if you can recover correctly, but it will still be damage. And the Vanquisher Carrier is equipped with a shield with the Phase Shifter shield, so it gives all of its ships shield bypass as long as they're within the range. Your objective is to try and pull everything as close or out of the range of that support field as you can, because you do not want to deal with it. And pay close attention to the launch area. I want him to be just on the range of my arc, because if he's in too far, he'll shoot me, but if he's not in far enough, my ship, the Sovereign, will not shoot him. Right there's the optimal area. Stop and repeat the process. And again, you want to slow down, you want to let him get in, and again, you want to try and keep him on that range. There you go. And now comes the easy part, and this should be a free repair time fight. The objective I wanted to go for here is to show everyone that if you gauge your targets based on your average fleet level, not your actual fleet level, you can do exceptionally well and excel in combat. And the average of your fleet, as most people will have already learned, is going to be the combined sum total of all the ships divided by the number of ships. Let's go ahead and let's hop back to the base. In my case, the vast majority of my fleet of that level 99 are between level 78, with the exception of the Guardian Cruiser and the Bastions. Everything else falls between level 70 to 78. With the carrier being the largest, and the repair time, as I said, is free for this fight. You do, again, however, need a Sovereign. Now I'm going to show you the fitting for it so you can know exactly what it is. 6 Cyclotron level 1s, the On-Guard Overdrive, Zephyr Thrusters 3, 2 level 3 Xeno Shells, and Standard Resonant Armor 2 on their 1s, and that uses up all the tonnage that you have access to in an unmarked upgraded Sovereign. And the Bastions are just my random fittings. And the Guardian is just there to fill in the slot until I can build more. And the Tyrant is there specifically to help counter that Vanquisher carrier. As you saw, it destroys the drones extremely quickly and extremely easily. The rest of the ships are only there to help cover the Sovereign and the Tyrant for the squadrons, while the drones to actually make it through. But that just about covers everything I wanted to talk about for the video on Anarchy. Everybody, I hope that you can do exceptionally well in the Anarchy event and actually earn whatever you would like. And the best of luck to you all out there. But this is going to be it for this video, everybody. If you found this video helpful, feel free to leave a like. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. If you want to see more videos like this, definitely subscribe. And as always, everybody, I'll see you later.